Welcome to another episode, Focus in Finance. My name is Shirley Luu, your host for the day. You know, this summer has been a whirlwind of summer because, with all the stuff they're talking about tariffs, they're talking about things that's happening, pricing, things are going up, vacationing, people are going less of it. Not as many folks came to the United States for vacation for their family, because there's just so many things that's happening in the world today. So I'm coming to you today talking a little bit about your finance and how these tariffs and how these all situations, the cost of goods, how's the market doing, and all the things, and what can we anticipate in the upcoming months. Okay. Well, first of all, as you know, in August, there's a lot of country that we have basically beginning to impose tariff on. In some cases, 20%, 30%, and all that. Now, I do realize for a fact that, there's two sides to the story, right? So one side of the story, tariff is really, really good for the economy. It's a little pain right now, but it'll get better, right? Then you hear the other side of the story, well, oh my gosh, this is going to really hurt the economy. So I'll kind of share with you from my perspective a little bit on all that. And I want to explain a little bit about tariffs and money and finances and the cost of goods and the kind of things that how it affects the economy overall, right? It's interesting things, the economy was going along fine, and then one hand it said, hey, we want to impose tariff because in a way that where more goods and stuff like that, hopefully the U.S. itself can start establishing its own goods and services, and where we may be buying less from outside the country, and putting tariff in some of those cases that we felt that maybe would give our folks here in the U.S. more chance, more job employment, and all that stuff. In the meantime, so let's say if that was true, let's say if that was an opportunity where, our farmers could step up and do certain things, and manufacturing start to create, or just, a whole wide range of stuff. Well, here's a couple of things you need to think about. Number one, even if I was an owner of those manufacturing firm or doing business in the U.S., or whether I build a Honda, I have to look at my labor force. Okay, the question is, can I get labor force fairly good enough price that I can be competitive in the marketplace? Otherwise, in the U.S., you're looking at kind of high price a little bit on that. But if I can't find the help, and if I can't find the labor force, then we've got a dynamic going on. I want to talk a little bit about tariff situation. People said, tariff, we're imposing it on other companies. Well, yes, that is absolutely true. Let's say you impose 30% tariff on a particular country, I should say. That means the cost of good for that particular item will go up 30%. Simple as this. If you pay something $100, previously you bought something from country A for $100 for that item. When we impose a 30% tariff, we're going to say to that country, if you want to do business in the U.S., that particular item that I used to pay for $100 is now, we're going to impose $130. That means it's going to be a $30 increase. Now, folks think that increase is imposing on that company, on that country. It's not, guys. That $30 increases is costing me as a business owner in the U.S. If I want to buy from country A, they're going to make me pay basically $30 more. Now, as an owner, I don't know about you. Do you think I'm going to absorb that $30? There's no way. I mean, I love to provide you that widget, but before I could pay $100, make some profit on it. Now it's gone up to $130. So my most common sense to do is, guess what? I'm taking that $30 increases and passing it on to the consumer. Let me repeat. Any tariff increase, if the price increase, I am going to pass that to the consumer. Unless I have a choice, unless I as a company say, you know what, it's okay, I'll be nice, let me absorb that 30% increase. So that's what tariff does. It does do increase to the cost of goods, and the only way that cost of goods is it has to pass on to somebody, and that is going to be you as a consumer. Now, if the cost is too high to a consumer as a company, I may say, you know what, I don't want to buy that much, because it's just too high. Before I used to buy 1,000 of those widgets. Now the cost is so high, I'm going to reduce it down to 500. So now it's chain reaction. So now that that country that I'm buying it from, I have to say to them, look, due to the tariff increase, stuff like that, I'm going to buy less from you, 500. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to affect their economy. It's going to affect our economy. It's going to affect the overall in the scheme of things, okay? So I just want to explain that. Now, how does tariff and things like that affect your money? How does that affect the economy? It is a chain reaction, guys, let me tell you. Notice how every time if an announcement is made that they're going to impose tariff, the stock market goes crazy, it goes down. But the minute the announcement said, no, we're going to hold off, we're not going to increase tariff, we're going to delay it, we're going to do certain stuff, and suddenly the stock market goes back up. What is it indicating to you guys? It's indicating that tariff does affect our money in every way. It affects your 401k, it affects your IRA, it affects the way we do business in the United States. It's funny, this morning I was driving in and I heard on the radio, they were talking about coffee. Every one of you drink coffee in the morning, right? Or most of you anyway, right? And a cup of coffee costs X dollar amount, and you rely on coffee to wake you up and do certain things. And some of you guys can't live without coffee. And some of you say, I don't care too much about it. But regardless, at the end of the day, I'm taking coffee as a very, very simple. There's a certain country right now that we import one of the biggest coffee things. And now we're looking at that coffee tariff is going to go up about 25 to 30%. Now think about that for a cup of coffee now. You either one, that cost a cup of coffee that you normally get from Starbucks or wherever, it's going to go up by 30% without you even doing it, just because that one tariff. And then some of you guys say, well, I don't know, maybe it's time if I quit drinking my coffee. I don't know if all you're going to do that, But I just want to explain to you, so now you've got a chain reaction affecting the coffee industry. It's not just about the coffee industry. I'm talking about fabric, clothing. I don't know about you guys, but I love shopping. I love shopping for clothes. I love shopping, being fashionable and do certain things. And some of you guys do that. And again, those, materials that are making, those fabric and those kind of things, if the costs are going up on those, that's going to translate to your pocketbook as well. Man, recently I went to shopping in the mall and I've seen prices just gone up. Before the cost of certain things was X dollar amount, now it's gone up like almost 20-30%. It's ridiculous. Now think about it, guys, all the stuff, the food, the spending, the material, the things that you guys having out there today, that's not going up 30%. I mean, well, a correction on that. Those costs are rising. Depends on what product you buy. 5, 10, 15, 20%. Look at what you paid last year versus you're paying right now as I'm speaking. But I know for one thing, I know your paycheck. Your paycheck, they're not giving you a 20 to 30% paycheck increase. I'm telling you, that ain't happening. And if you look around right now, as a matter of fact, this morning, an announcement's been, they're laying off another, 1,500 folks. So you've got layoff happening. And then, by the way, right now, as I'm speaking, I'm talking to you from the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. The governor in Maryland, the governor in Maryland has just signed an agreement because they have such a shortfall in their budget right now. So they're offering the state and local employee taking early retirement package, doing a buyout in order for them to meet the budget. So it's not only that, we're not getting pay raise, guys, we're getting layoff and packages that are saying to you, hey, please, retire early, because we want you to, and we're going to pay you a payout X dollar amount. If I pay you $20,000, $30,000 right now, buy you out, but I don't have to ever worry about paying your salary for the next 20, 30 years. So is that good for us? I don't know. Maybe some of you guys in the mode of retirement, that may be. But for some of you guys still young enough that you say, you know what? I don't know. I still, I was hoping, banking on the fact that I could retire and stay forever with a government that I can last for life. Hey guys, those days are gone. Those days of you're thinking your employer that you're going to be there forever and that you can count on that ain't happening, So what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about planning. You need to plan your future right now. If you don't do it right now, you're going to be in big trouble. I never want to be able to look back and say, gosh, I didn't plan. And I'll repeat this. I said it before. When it comes to financial planning, I can talk to a 18-year-old, 24 under, and I would tell them that they need to save. And this is what typical answer the young people tells me. Well, I'm going to school right now. I'm attending college. I got to have all these college bills, and I got all these things that I have. Until I graduate, when I make some money, maybe I'll invest. So you ready? They graduate, right? Then I come to them, and here's what happened. Well, I graduated. I'm supposed to invest, but here's the problem. I owe all these debt from school and education, and I'm trying to move out into an apartment because I don't want to live with my mom and dad. I have no money to invest. Then when they turn 35, I meet them again. I say, hey, did you ever invest? Oh, no. You see, I met this beautiful, young lady. We're going to be married. We're planning for a wedding. All that. We can't invest because we're trying to save for the wedding. Okay. Then after the wedding, 40, we have kids. Oh my God, school, college, toddler school, daycare, so much we can't invest. Then you meet 45, I can't invest because you know why? I have to put money down payment for a house, and we're trying to do this. You can't invest. Then I meet a 55-year-old that said, oh my gosh, I got all these education bills that I help those kids with school as mom and dad, can't invest. Then I got a mortgage, I can't do that. Then I meet a daggone 65-year-old, you know what they tell me? I wish I invested when I was 18. How backward is this? And believe me, I know you hear me out there, and I know you fit in one of those categories. But I also know some of you guys smart enough that have listened to the advice from other advisors, and including myself. What I want to do, my biggest message for you is this, guys. Your future starts now. If anything at all, take this episode that you're seeing me talking from the bottom of my heart. You need to think about your future. And don't let me be one of those things that I should have done something. Look, $3 a day, $5 a day make a difference. I've always said to you guys, you know what? We rise by uplifting others. So here's Shirley Luu to you, in happy retirement.